in high school or college stage or something like that, we only raised partners major suit with support was considered 3 cards or more. We didn't make a distinction between 4-card support and 3-card support. And we only had 3 ranges. We had a minimal raise, maybe about 6 to 10, a bad 10. We had a limit range, which was like a good 10 to 12. And then with game forcing strength, we bid another way. So this chart, which has like 8 bids in it, 4 for 4-card support or more, and 4 for 3-card support, has 8 bids. If we had done this, say, in 1975, it would just be a column, 1 column with 3 spaces, okay, instead of 8. So we have many more tools at our disposal for showing the quality of our hand, the strength and the amount of support we have for partners major suit. What we're going to be discussing in the next 3 sessions are the Bergen raises, Jacobi 2 no trump, simple splinters, and the forcing no trump. This should say forcing no trump under here because that's what this is, a forcing no trump bid. And I'm just going to briefly review all of them for you today, but we're going to go into them in more detail in the next few sessions. So, for example, next time will be Bergen raises, and the time after that will be Jacobi 2 no trump, and the time after that will be forcing no trump. Okay, Bergen raises. Let's talk about those. Now, this is the contracted set of Bergen raises, the 3 bids. There's also an expanded set of 8 bids, and what I'm telling you now about Bergen raises only applies to this contracted set. So, for example, I'm going to tell you that we make these bids with less than game forcing strength. But that expanded set of Bergen raises includes some bids with game forcing strength. Okay, so just wanted to make that clear. Bergen raises are 3-level responses, and as I said, in the expanded set, some of them are 4-level. So this only applies to these 3-level responses to partner's major suit opener by an unpassed hand, and there can be no interference for 2 of these bids, but we do allow interference for 1 of them. And this bid shows 4+ card support for partners major in 1 of 3 ranges and less than game forcing strength. So that's why Bergen raises appear here, here, and here, because they promise 4-card support with less than game forcing strength. Once we get to game forcing strength, we can use other conventions. The original form of Bergen raises, what I'm going to show you is what's sometimes called an inverted or reverse Bergen. The original form of Bergen had these 2 bids reversed in meaning. But as is so commonly the case in bridge theory, it's been found that it's more effective to use the lower ranking bid to show the better hand. Okay? So if you reverse these 2, what you're doing is you're making the 3-club bid show 8 to 9, and you're making the 3-diamond bid show 10 to 12. We want to do it the other way around, because when we have a better hand, we want to be at a lower level. So that's the only difference between the 2 forms of this, and this is the one I like, and it's the one that I'll be presenting to you. But in the 0 to 7 range, and some people don't go as low as 0, they might say 3 to 7, but we can be very weak because this is a preemptive bid. We're showing 4-card support and weakness, and the bids would be something like 1 heart pass in between 3 hearts, or 1 spade, 3 spades. Like I said, a lot of people allow interference with this with this 1 bid, the preemptive one. In fact, we had an auction yesterday that went 1 spade for partner, 2 heart overcall, and I bid 3 spades with a hand like that. So the intervention doesn't make the preemptive nature of the call any less effective. And that's why we allow it. But these are more likely to be game going, and they're off over interference. So with 8 to 9, we have the so-called constructive raise, which is 1 heart or 1 spade followed by 3 diamonds. And then with the limit raise strength, we use the 3-club call. So 1 heart, 3 clubs, or 1 spade, 3 clubs. And you can see all of that here. That's in this form. All right, now we're going to get down to this box. When we have game forcing strength in 4-card or better support, we'll use the Jacobi 2 no trump if our hand is balanced or semi-balanced. And let me review for you what those terms mean. A balanced hand is a hand with at most 1 doubleton and no singletons or voids. So the shapes that fit that description are 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, and 5, 3, 3, 2. Those are the 3 balanced hands. When we have an unbalanced hand, which is when we have an unbalanced hand, we use the splinters instead. The semi-balanced hands will also be Jacobi 2 no trump calls. And when it's a semi-balanced hand, is a hand with 2 or more double twos and no singleton or void. So now we're talking about 5-4-2-2 shape. Hello. 5-4-2-2 shape, 6-3-2-2 shape, and 7-2-2-2 shape. Okay, so with any of those shapes, we can give partner a Jacobi 2-note trump call. Wouldn't it be nice to have 7 card support? 7-2-2-2? Because that's what it has to be. Your double tens are your partner's major, otherwise you're not using Jacobi. And one thing to know about this is that all bids below 4 are the major or forcing. So if the bidding the 1 heart, 2-note trump, we're committed to 4 hearts. We don't stop before 4 hearts. So if I have to make one of these bids along the way, that's a forcing bid. You don't get it past that. You have to keep going. Okay, so 2-note trump responds by an unpassed hand, a balanced or semi-balanced unpassed hand, after partner's major suit opening with no interference. And here's a brief summary of what we're going to be talking about. This is the menu of responses. It's prioritized. If you can do this one, you do it. If you can't do this one, but you can do this one, you do it. And if you can't do either of these, you pick one of these. Okay, so the first 3-bid by opener, let's say I've opened the bidding on 1 heart, and you said 2-note trump. If I have a good second suit, 5 cards or longer, and when I say good to the top 3 honors, you go ahead and bid that suit at the 4 level. So in this case, if I had a good 5-card diamond suit to go with my hearts, the bidding would go 1 heart, 2-note trump, 4 diamonds. On the other hand, if you don't have that, but you have shortness, you know, singleton or a void somewhere, go ahead and bid that suit at the 3 level. So let's suppose you had a singleton diamond. The bidding would go 1 heart, 2-note trump alert, 3 diamonds. I have a singleton or a void in diamonds. That's a splinter. A splinter is any time when we bid a suit, what we mean is it's short. And if we can't do either of these, we either rebid our major at the 3 or 4 level, or we bid 3-note trump. And you'll notice the structure here is that as the hands get stronger, the response gets lower, just like we were talking about before. So with a minimum opening bid, after 1 heart, 2-note trump, we just jump to 4 hearts. Principle of fast arrival, showing weakness. But with this slightly stronger hand, an intermediate strength opening bid, we're going to show that with a 3-note trump call. Now, what I want you to notice here is that 3-note trump is not to play. There's no interest there in note trump. That's just saying that my 1 heart opening bid was in the 16 to 18 point range, and you are forced to continue bidding. And likewise, when I have the strongest 1 level opening bid, 1 heart opening bid, I will bid 3 hearts to show you that. We're saving room. This is the hand we're most likely to do the slam. Yeah, but.
So are you talking then, when you get down to a 3-heart bid like that, an invitation to slam?
Well, this whole system is based on the idea that we're investigating slam. Okay, because as soon as the bidding goes 1 major, 2-note trump, we're going to game. Right. So why are we doing any other kind of bidding? Because there might be a slam.
Okay.
And that's why we want to show a good 5-card suit, because we're looking for suits that can produce tricks. All right, so that's the Jacobi 2-note trump. The simple splinters are also for 4-card support with game force and strength, but now with the unbalanced hand. You have a singleton or void. And what we do is we make a double jump shift into the short suit. What we're doing with all of that, a double jump shift. Now, what's a shift? 1 heart, 2 clubs. Okay, what's a jump shift? 1 heart, 3 clubs. What's a double jump shift? 1 heart, 4 clubs. Okay, so all of these bids here are double jump shifts. After 1 heart, the possibilities are 3 spades, 4 clubs, or 4 diamonds to show shortness in spades, clubs, or diamonds, respectively. And when our suit is spades, the 3 splinter bids are 4 clubs, 4 diamonds, and 4 hearts. Once again, they show 4-card support for the spades, game force and strength, and shortness in the splinter suit. And we might do that with a hand like this. Okay, when the partner has open hearts or spades, we have 4-card support and game force and strength. And with shortness and clubs, if partner opens 1 heart, we bid 4 clubs to show this hand. And partner will then decide whether he or she has more interest in slam. We'll talk in more detail about the value of splinters and why we care about that kind of thing, how it helps us avoid duplication of values. And then finally, we'll talk about the forcing no trump. Now, what I want to say on the subject of forcing no trump is that it is a bigger topic than what we're doing right here and now. Okay, what we're doing here and now is talking about raising major suits. The forcing no trump is used for more things than that. But all we're going to be discussing right now is raising major suits. Okay? When we talk about this subject in a couple of sessions, I'll give you some of the other uses for this bit. But in any event, the forcing of one no trump is a one no trump response to partner's major suit opening bid with 3-card support. This part is not necessary in those other usages, but for our purpose today, we're always going to be showing 3-card support with the forcing no trump. It's by an unpassed hand, absent interference, and promising 6 to 12 points. This hand can be unbalanced. Once again, when you first learned to play this game like I did, 1 heart, 1 no trump, that was a bid that showed about 6 to 9 points. It denied support, denied 3-card support, and the hand couldn't have a void in it, for example, or a singleton. This is altogether different. Now we'll get to a little bit of this bridge theory. Why all the fuss about majors? Why is there so much attention paid to majors? I don't know if you recall, but when we talked about even minor suit opening bids, what's your first priority when partner opens, say, a diamond? Show a 4-card major, or longer if you have it, right? And if you can't do that, what's your next priority? Bid no trump, if that looks right, and it's the right shape. And only when nothing else is possible do you settle for a minor suit. And that status of majors over no trump over minors is an important concept. So why all this fuss about the majors? It's in the scoring and the fact that about 2 out of 3 times, if you have an 8-card or longer fit, and you have a choice of either playing in that suit or no trump, about 2 times out of 3 you'll make an extra trick. Not always. Sometimes you make the same number of tricks. But, and let's look at the scoring. Let's suppose we have an 8-card major suit fit. We somehow discover we also have an 8-card minor suit fit. And maybe we have all the suits stopped. And we have a choice then of playing in heart, since whatever our major suit is, or in no trump, or in the minor suit. The reason, if we're going to make an extra trick, let's say we can make 9 tricks in our major, we'll score 140. If we make 9 tricks in our minor, we're only going to get 110. No, I think it should say win. No, it's not.
16.
No, 110 is right. Yeah. Okay. Now, with better hands, let's say hands that where game is a possibility. Let's suppose the same hand can make either 4 of a major, 3 no trump, or 4 of a minor. Well, not vulnerable. 4 of the major will pay us 420. 3 no trump will only pay us 400. And 4 clubs is an even game. And even if we did get the game, still, the major suit pays better. And when we're vulnerable, those numbers go up, but the relationship stays the same. So this is the reason why in duplicate bridge, it's so important to find major suit contracts when they're playable. I don't think this matters so much in rubber bridge. I don't think it matters so much if you have 110 or 120 or whatever. But in duplicate bridge, it does matter. So why would we make an extra trick in trump? Well, there's a few options that become available to us that aren't available in no trump. For one thing, we can manufacture tricks by roughing and dummy. And when I say by roughing and dummy, what I mean is the short piece of our trump suit, which is usually dummy. I mean, if I open a spade and you raise the spades, I'll probably have more spades than you. So you'll be the dummy, and that'll be the shorter piece of our holding. Once in a while, it's the other way around. What's the time when dummies are likely to have a longer trump than declare? When there's a transfer, right? 1 no trump, you bid 2 diamonds or 2 hearts transfer, and you're going to put down a 5-card or longer major. And so, in this case, the short piece would be in declarer's hand. But when I say manufacturing tricks, I want you to imagine for a moment that I have the ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of, let's say, spades, and any number of spades in the other hand. It can be 2, 3, 4, whatever. If that suit is worth 5 tricks, ace, king, queen, jack, 10, I couldn't possibly lose any of those if they're trump. And if I rough with one of them, how many tricks do I make? The same, 5, right. But if I can rough with the short piece before they're all exhausted, then I'll get a sixth trick. So that's what I mean by manufacturing tricks. Roughing with the long hand is sometimes necessary, but it never manufactures a trick the way it does when we rough in the short hand. Welcome. We have a lot of new faces today. So we manufacture tricks by roughing a dummy. Also, with the trump suit, we can stop the opponents from learning a suit. How many times you've been in no trump and they rattle out the first 5 or 6 tricks? That wouldn't have happened if you were playing in the trump suit. The trump suit can serve as transportation. We can sometimes get from one hand to the other by roughing something. So we're not necessarily manufacturing a trick, but we're using that to get back to hand or get out to dummy. Oftentimes you can set up a suit without losing the lead. If we're playing this suit in no trump, even if we find the optimal break, we're missing 6, so the optimal break would be for the opponents to each have 3. If we're playing in no trump, there's no way to make 5 tricks here. You can only make 4. But if you're playing in a trump suit, you take the ace king, you rough one, and then take the other 2. Okay? So that's another advantage. And then finally, there are a few assorted end plays that are possible. We're not going to spend much time talking about that stuff, but that becomes an option available to you when you play in a trump suit that might not be available in no trump. In no trump, you can still do things like squeezes, but there's a play called strip and end play that really requires both hands have a trump, and you force partner to either lean into your tennis or give you a rough and a slough, and you can't do that in no trump. And now, why all this fuss about a ninth trump? Why do we have this chart here broken into 2 parts? Why is that so important? 9 trump is much better than 8 trump. You've probably heard of the golden fit, 8 card fit. Well, this is platinum. You know, it's better than the golden fit. And here's why. Here's an 8 card fit, and look at this, here's a 9 card fit. The big difference here, I cannot bring home this suit without losing a trick. I must lose a trick to either the queen or the jack, or even if the queen jack falls doubles and somebody's got a 10 that's guarded. Also, it's going to be hard for me to pull trump and still have trump and dummy, right? Because I need to pull 3 rounds of trump. Maybe you want to rough something in a side suit before you exhaust all your trump and dummy. Well, there's a risk, if there's still outstanding trump, of getting over-roughed. So you have a choice between either trying to get away with that or pulling trump and giving up on that. But with a 9th trick, with something like this, you're going to have a much easier time with that. Here's why. Number 1, we may drop the queen doubleton, which we'll do about 41% of the time. If you recall when we talked about play of the hand, we went over some odds that I think are very practical and very useful. I know they're a little intimidating to a lot of people, but if you can remember that a 4-4, when you're missing 4 cards in a suit, they'll split 2-2 about 50% of the time. They'll split 3-1 about 41% of the time, and 4-0 about the other 9% of the time. So that's good to know. We'll drop the doubleton queen about 41% of the times that they split 2-2. And furthermore, even when they split 3-1, we'll still have a trump left in dummy after we pull 3 rounds of trump, unless they break 4-0, okay, which I said happens 9% of the time. So 91% of the time you get a more favorable break than that. So this is just very, very useful. It makes games more likely to come home. It makes slams more likely to come home. So we focus a lot of energy on telling the partner the difference between 3-card support and 4-card support or greater. And we focus a lot of energy on finding major suit fits. Okay, that's it for today.